hopefully many of you have your own No Kings stories. There were people out in all of the major cities, millions of people out in the major cities across the country. I was up in Kingston, New York, and there was, hard to say, but I would say at least like 2,000 to 5,000 people there marching through the city. Ryan spoke, the congressman for the 18th district was there. I went with my daughter, which was fun.
Very fun.
And I've just heard from people all across the country that there was tons. Let's take a look at what we have up here.
Yeah, this is, I guess,
It's footage from Minneapolis, Philadelphia, Washington, D.C., Chicago, New York City was packed, San Diego, Boston, insane. We're getting people just on the IMs right now. Yosemite, Sam Seder. I live in a tiny town in North Carolina. There was at least 300 or 400 people protesting there. Cho says we had 10,500 to show up in Grand Rapids, Michigan. We're going to see more come in. Estimated 125,000 people out in Boston. That's crazy. Let's play a couple more clips. What else do we have here?
this is Arkansas, just in case any Republicans watching think, oh, these are just blue, degenerate urban areas. No.
They're
Release
saying
the
release the files in Arkansas. Left of Strage says Albany protest, miles of people lined up on the busiest sections of the road. Tom Cotton's Beard 2000 in Carlisle, Pennsylvania. In Juneau, Alaska, says Uday and Kusei Lutnick, 750. Mego, 2,000 in Peoria, Illinois. Hopeful, 900 in Haverhill, Mass. That's pretty good. Ramona Frankenstein, small town I grew up in New Hampshire, at least 200 people. Long Island popped out big, says Nassau County spokesperson.
All right.
Easy 10,000 plus in New Orleans. Carly Chirk. Denver, 25 to 35,000, says Saturn Girl.
This is Idaho.
Wilmington, population 127, 7K showed up. Adam Lefty, this is where?
Idaho.
Here is Boise, Idaho. Population of Democrats. This may be, I mean,
Pound for pound, the most Republican state
the most
in the
Republican
country.
state in the country.
Yeah. I do like that they're still patriotic here. That's their form of protest. That makes sense.
Clearwater, 6,000 in Eau Claire. 3,000 in Newburyport, Maine. I mean, it really dramatic numbers across the board here.
And it pissed Trump off, obviously.
Oh, yeah. Let's show Donald Trump's reaction. It was, I mean, you could say on some level he pooped himself, but he decided to aim that poop on the American public.
Great. Here
it is.
It has a copywritten song, so this is a silent version.
This is him. Okay, pause it for a second. It's him flying a fighter jet. Now, of course, this is fiction. Donald Trump would never be able to fit into a fighter jet.
Yeah, look at that
respect.
torso.
He also, the best part is, look at, the mask is not even over his nose.
Yeah, he doesn't need it. He can breathe up there.
I don't need the face diaper up here.
There's no COVID on Mars.
Yeah, I don't have to worry about that. And it's the...
It says King Trump on the side.
Yeah, and the idea, of course, is to sort of like play into it. But what's impressive is that they spent all of the past week or two talking about this as as it's going to be full of Antifa fighters and ninja fighters and Hamas and Hezbollah and what is like a Red Dawn,
America hating
and
Marxists,
and on and on. And then, of course, all they're talking about now is it was all boomers. It was all old people.
I mean, compared to the pro-Palestine protesters, yeah, I would say it skews a little bit older, but that doesn't mean that this is not like a show of major discontent with Donald Trump. Like, that's what matters, is that people were motivated enough to get out on a Saturday and protest this administration.
Oh, I'll tell you something. They're nervous about this because if they are right, and my experience was that it was most of the people I saw were Gen X or boomers out there, at least up in Kingston. I was with my daughter. I mean, I saw young people as well, but that was, you know, I would say probably 45, 40 and older were the majority of people. In midterm elections, like the amount of the electorate these people represent is extremely high.
Yeah,
And
that's
they
the
seem
boomer part.
very, very motivated.
Can we just play a little bit more?
We
of
didn't
this?
Oh
get to
yeah,
the-
yeah. Sorry,
we didn't get to the
yeah,
poop.
we didn't get to the part where he's on his jet and he basically. Now I don't know how this works. Brian, you've been in the military, but I
not Air
can't
Force.
imagine they would have let you in the Air Force. But but I don't know if it works this way where they actually put a pipe that goes from the seat, because of course
I know.
you can't relieve yourself if this goes from the flight suit but here you see Donald Trump with just massive diarrhea coming out of him through the airplane.
I mean, that, right, exactly. How much did he eat that day?
Yeah, I mean, it was
Same
pretty
amount.
Light lunch.
He's the president. You guys have to respect him.
At least he wasn't wearing a tan suit. When he was flying
You're
on the
right.
plane.
You're
You
right.
guys want to divide us all the time. You got to support our president.
Now, I've seen like a little bit of some cynicism about these protests, and obviously the protests mean nothing if there's no organizing that comes out of this. But at least at the protest that I went to, there were a lot of tents. There was a lot of like tables set up. People are organizing. There is no doubt in my mind. Now, let's assume they were close to. I would imagine there were closer to 8 million than 5.5 million, because there's so many towns where you had 1,000 people come out, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 people that are just not going to be recorded, but if even just a tiny percentage of those begin to organize, and they have access to those people who were there, it is helpful. And as far as the No Kings thing, at one point, my hope is that those involved in the anti-oligarch tour that went around, like Sanders and AOC, and people who fight oligarchies and concentrations of wealth and power. When we think about kings, that's what the kings were. They were just like, they didn't just have a monopoly of power, they had a monopoly of wealth and resources. That was like almost like definitionally what the king was. And we obviously don't have the same system of government, but the problem, it remains the same. I cannot remember the name of the professors we had on who had written that book, The Anti-Oligarchic Constitution. Pat Ryan up at Kingston, his speech was talking about the Declaration of Independence.
Fishkin and Forbath.
Yeah, Fishkin and Forbath, talking about the idea of no kings in the Declaration of Independence. But the concept of kings, when we talk about someone who has a monopoly of power and wealth, really sort of like the monopoly of power came first and the wealth just followed, because they were able to say, we'll take all the wealth because I have this army.
Yeah.
But the idea of monopoly of wealth giving that type of oligarchic power, this is what we're fighting against.
And that's why there's some people that are cynical about, like, it seems a little designed to avoid the question of capitalism. But I don't think that story is finished yet, to your point. You know, there's still an opportunity to connect it to what we've been saying about oligarchy and taxation. It's just that it kind of fits into what we're saying about what we were saying last week about the Democrats losing credibility by being undemocratic in their lack of responsiveness to their base, right? If the only message is that of democracy, we cannot do that again.
Well, I mean,
they leaned into that with Kamala Harris, and it was not potent enough to overcome people's obvious material reality.
Here's the thing. The oligarchy we have now is only a function of capitalism because that is the path that we have been on. There are other ways to get to oligarchy. We can see it around the globe. And so it's to say that the problem is capitalism is to elide the fact that the problem is oligarchy. The way in which we got to oligarchy, we in this country, as opposed to, let's say, Russia, did not head to oligarchy because of capitalism. It was an injection of perhaps a form of capitalism, but with a pre-existing structure that was also problematic. It is important to address the oligarchy, and King's is a childlike way of saying oligarchy.
FDR got to economic royalists.
Exactly.
I would say that conditions are going to force us in that direction as well, even if there's a resistant part of the Democratic Party that doesn't want to talk about it.
And then the question is, like, once it's become clear that we have a monopoly of power and of wealth and a concentration of wealth that does not serve democracy, the question is, like, well, how did we get here? And that, in our particular case, it is capitalism. And there's going to have to be a change to renew democracy.
Yep.
It's going to have to come from a different system that we have practiced that brought us to this point. Hey, folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button and check out our daily show. We do it every day at 12 p.m. Eastern for about 2.5 hours. We even take phone calls. You should check that out.